Now, right, Republicans continue to try and push their disastrous Obamacare repeal bill without much success, mind you. Many of them are actually also trying to cash in on health insurance company stocks. Now, last week, Lee Fong, The Intercept, reported that Representative Mike Conway, a Texas Republican and member of Speaker Paul Ryan's leadership team, had decided during the middle of all this, the healthcare repeal stuff in the Senate, he was going to add a health insurance company to his stock portfolio. Oh, interesting. Now, according to them, an account owned by Conway's wife made 2 purchases of United Health stock worth as much as $30,000. On March 24th, the day the legislation advanced in the House Rules Committee, according to disclosures. Well, that's curious timing. Now, the exact value of Conway's investment is not clear, given that congressional ethics forms only show a range of amounts, and Conway's office did not respond to a request for comment. So, very, very curious indeed. Now, so during a health insurance repeal discussion that would massively benefit health insurance companies, his family decides, hey, let's do some health insurance stocks. I wonder why they would do that. Could it be because the health insurance companies, their stock would go up during this discussion or after this bill would pass? That's very strange. Let's look into that. Now, let's see. According to a CNBC report from the end of June, healthcare stocks have actually been on a tear as investors brace for the unveiling of the Senate's healthcare bill, which aims at repealing and replacing Obamacare. And United Health specifically, where Mr. Conway had invested, has gained nearly 7% of value since March 24th. Could it be that's because, again, this healthcare bill is a huge giveaway to the rich and health insurance companies, and they can make more profit? Now, Conway wasn't the only guy. As the healthcare system overhaul advanced last month, on the other side of Capitol Hill, Republican Senator James Inhofe of Oklahoma purchased between $50,000 and $100,000 in United Health stock. Again, must be a coincidence, right? I mean, they're just in the middle of pushing a healthcare repeal bill that will massively benefit the companies themselves, and they just happen to buy stock in these companies. What a coincidence! At least that's what they're saying. So let's go to Senator Inhofe and his his spokesman, Nicole Hague. Now, she says Senator Inhofe has a financial advisor and makes transactions on his behalf, and then these transactions are disclosed as required by the Stock Act. The transaction you reference was routine and made without the senator's prior knowledge or consultation, she said in an interview with The Intercept. Sure. And I'm also Santa Claus. Really? No, see, look, here's the issue, right? He's got to know. He's got to know. His wife runs it. And his wife's not going to come home and, hey, honey, did you invest in any companies while I was gone? No, can't tell you. We're going to violate the Stock Act. No, of course they do. Come on. Look, this is clearly an example of insider trading. I mean, here you have members of Congress and their staff buying and selling stock while using privileged information. This information, of course, being, hey, I know what changes are going to happen, and I know how they're going to impact the markets through rules and regulations that we're debating right now. So since I know all this information, I know that I can expect some changes on my financial, on my stocks and stuff, my finances. Now, knowing that, of course, you or someone who works for you will end up knowing when to buy or sell certain stocks. That is super problematic. And the issue, of course, look, this is not a new issue. It's been around for a while, but it was finally highlighted at least in some media, when Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price was revealed to have bought shares in Innate Immunotherapeutics. Now, that is, of course, an obscure Australian biotech firm. Now, what makes it weird is he was also legislating on policies that would impact the firm. So he's legislating on these policies. It's like, Well, we know it's going to positively impact this firm, so I'm going to buy a whole bunch of shares in it. Now, Fong writes, the stock advice had been passed to Price from Representative Chris Collins, a board member for Innate Immunotherapeutics, and was shared with a number of other GOP lawmakers who also invested in the firm. Conaway, records show, bought shares in the company a week after Price. Now, Conaway serves as a GOP deputy whip in the House, and he has a long record of investing in firms that happen to coincide with his official duties. Politico also reported that Conaway's wife purchased stock in a nuclear firm just after he sponsored a bill to deal with nuclear waste storage in his district. That firm stood to directly benefit from this legislation. Now, look, I don't know, you guys, is there corruption here or something? Do you see any corruption? I can't tell. I can't tell. At least if I were a member of Congress, I wouldn't be able to tell, because obviously right now they can't tell because they're not doing anything about it at all. Look, no member of Congress should be able to financially benefit from their legislative decisions. That needs to be a law because it's an obvious conflict of interest. Now, they tried to make a law after 2008. Multiple lawmakers from both parties had rearranged their financial portfolios to avoid heavy potential losses. In response to that, these lawmakers who had used confidential information to make these special trades to save their portfolios were obviously found to do this. And let me give an example of who one of them was. It was Spencer Baucus, who used confidential meetings about the unfolding bank crisis to make special trades designed to increase in value as the stock market had went down. Now, after that whole thing happened, Congress was like, okay, we do have to do something about this because it's really bad. So they passed the Stock Act. Originally, the Stock Act's fairly strong. And then they watered it down. They managed to repeal parts of it. And even after all of that, the House of Representatives has fought efforts to enforce the law, especially after the Securities and Exchange Commission attempted to investigate one congressional staffer accused of passing healthcare information to a set of hedge funds. So this is a problem that has not been solved. This is still going on, and it's a serious problem. Again, I don't think that a congressman should be able to invest in something that they have the power to affect. Say what you will about that, that shouldn't be a controversial opinion. If you don't set up a system that prevents conflicts of interest and insider trading, then guess what you're going to get? You're going to get insider trading. Or even if you have a system and you don't enforce that law, well then you're just going to send a message to people like, yeah, it's technically on the books, but you're not going to get in trouble for it. So have at it, man. Enjoy. Go do your insider trading with knowledge that you have in order to make a buck. Knowledge, special knowledge that nobody else has, based on the legislation that you're doing. Can you not see that this is wrong? Our bought shills in Congress don't. And a lot of them happen to be Republicans, but of course there are Democrats as well. So, look, the Stock Act, not nearly enough, and it continues to get violated over and over again. And it's very doubtful this Congress under Donald Trump is going to vote for something even stronger, because they're wading in a cesspool of corruption. So why is it worth reporting then? Well, because for now, just so you know, right, the reason that we're bringing this to you is so you actually know. And so you're actually aware of what this repeal and replace bill actually entails. This is a good example of another way congressmen personally benefit from a legislation that is likely going to harm you and help them. And look, this bill hurts you, it hurts regular people in so many different ways. This is just another way that these congressmen will personally benefit from this. And so I want you all to remember, this when the elections come in 2018. Remember who these people are, especially if you live in these areas with Jim Inhofe, and you remember how much you hate this corruption, how much you wanted to drain the swamp. Because these people, Conaway, they're living in it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.